In today's video, I am going to be breaking down Kasparas Jakucionis and how he shoots the basketball, and I am so happy I pronounced that name right, I think. Anyways, so his shooting form is actually very good, and he's going to be in this year's NBA draft. So if you're looking to improve your shooting form, in this video, I am going to be breaking down a lot of different tips that you can utilize yourself to become a better basketball shooter. So let's get down and let's check out Kasparas Jakucionis. I will be breaking down his game in full very soon. He is a very smart player, so definitely subscribe for that. And if you want to be able to shoot the ball from further away, make sure to go check out the link down below for the shooting workout so that when you shoot the ball, you can shoot from this distance very easily and very, very accurately. Now, one thing that a lot of younger players do not do, watch Kasparas' head. Watch how he's looking at the rim way before he even sets and plants his feet to be able to take that shot. A lot of younger players, even really advanced players, they will look down at this point, right on this last dribble, so that they can make sure that they gather the ball, they can see where the lines are on the ball, and they can get it into their hands how they like. However, by keeping your head up, looking at the rim, obviously you're going to be seeing where the defenders are. However, by looking early, you are going to have a much more accurate shot. So definitely shoot when you shoot. Keep your eyes on the basket as early as possible. Now, when Kasparas goes into his shot, now this is a 2-foot jump shot. Obviously, his butt is going to be back into this shot. However, some things that I really want to point out is the fact that a 2-foot jump shot, this is very good. 2-foot stop. This is what's going to allow you to have a very balanced shot. But as we can see, his feet, his knees, hips, shoulders all point in the exact same direction. Not necessarily exactly at the basket. However, they are all in the exact same direction. This is going to be a very accurate shot. We can also see how his hands are on the ball as well. And we can see that when he goes up into his shooting form, up into his set point, some players like their guide hand in different spots. So for him, he likes to have his fingers touch maybe the top 90th of the ball, and his palm is near the bottom of the ball. Some players will like to have their hand more on top. Others will like their hand more on the side. This is a very specific thing that every single player has a different comfort to. And I've also found that depending on where you put your guide hand will show if you have a thumb flick or non-thumb flick. So we can see right here, his palm is facing out towards the sideline, which means that he does not have a thumb flick. He also, if we can zoom in right here, we can see that he has kind of a soft release, which should give him a little bit more arc, but generally for most players will take away the backspin. It'll still have backspin, but if you had a hard release on the wrist and a hard straight forehand, that would be a ton of backspin. But there's bonus benefits and negatives to each. He also has a nice high release, his elbow being above his forehead. That is going to give him a very good arc on his shot. And overall, when we start looking at his shot right here, it's very good, very continuous. And if we look at the actual drop, so if we look at where it hits on the net versus where it is right here, you're looking at roughly in the 40-degree range. Now, if we measure it from about there, that's roughly where it drops from. It's at about 42 degrees to the middle of the ball. Now, this is actually very important. This number is something that a lot of players don't pay enough attention to. If you can get that number between 40 to about 44 degrees, that is the most optimal drop. If you go in too narrow, that's going to have a lot more chances of hitting rim and bouncing out. While a drop from too high is going to be a lot more gravity, a lot faster speeds dropping to the rim, so that if it does hit the rim, there's a greater chance of it bouncing out. However, it will have the rim look the biggest to the ball. If it hits the rim, there's a higher chance of a very high arcing shot just rimming out. Now, on a sidestep, you can kind of really see how the player will shoot. And the one thing with Kasparas is, depending on how he sets into his shot, his body is technically inconsistently bending. And what I mean by that is, if he comes to a 2-foot jump stop that we just seen, his butt is way past his heels. Now, if you see a sidestep while his right foot is ahead of his left, which will allow him to get his right side in line, you can see that his spine is like a metal rod that is going into the ground. That's not necessarily the best. You want to have your shoulders over your knees, over your toes, and that's not happening in this pick. He is very much leaning forward, but he's got his back more straight than anything, which, while leaning forward, as we see, shoulders over knees well past toes, will give you a lot more power, because of course that's needed because he took that sidestep if he's not strong enough. Having that straight spine without it being curved, without it being angled over so the shoulders are more down, this is taking away a lot of his power, so it's kind of equaling out. And while he does make this shot, it is quite interesting to be able to see those things. And we can see that on this sidestep as well. It actually seems like he tends to have a very tight spine. Maybe he is trying to take away some power, I'm not too sure, but generally speaking, you really want your shoulders to be over your knees, over your toes. That will be a balanced shot that's going to allow you to utilize the lower back muscle, which will allow you to get greater range. That's the Steph Curry secret to his great range with not much of a hop. But we can see right here that he does get, and other obviously video clips as well, he gets his shoulder, elbow, and ball all in line. I call this the shooting triangle. As long as all of this is in line with the rim, you're pretty well set. Going down into his gather right here, we can see that his knees are at roughly around 85 degrees. That's totally fine, but this is what I'm talking about right here. His hips are wide open. He could actually get a lot more power if only he just had that hinged a little bit further. Obviously, Kasparas has a great shot. He shoots at a high percentage. These are, however, tips that can potentially help your shooting form. Now, I just hope that somebody in the NBA doesn't mess up Kasparas' shot, because he does shoot at a high percentage. So shooting at the percentage he does, which the last time I checked, he was somewhere around that low 40% range. He's doing a really good job. So I would not be really doing anything to change this form. We've all seen in the NBA how they change forms and make them really bad. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Anyways, make sure to go check out the shooting workout that is down in the description below so that you can shoot from further away and obviously more accurately. And I'll see you guys again in my next video. I hope that this video has helped you.